Salutations everybody, it is Matty here today and we are taking a look at one of the biggest, most exciting mods coming to Fallout New Vegas, one that's going to completely overhaul your game and bring you a completely unique experience. It's one I've talked about a lot on the channel in the past. We're returning to it today. That is Fallout: The Frontier. We're going to go into a bit of the story, the synopsis that's available on their website. We'll also dig into some brand new gameplay that they just uploaded a handful of days ago, give our impressions on that, and then we'll wrap this up on why exactly you should be excited. So first and foremost, it's been stated by the developers of this mod that it's pretty much feature complete. They're in the polishing stages. They've been in the polishing stages for a while. And I think with that being said, we could safely expect a release date at some point within 2020, which means it's time to get hype. I mean, if you look at a Kotaku interview from 2017, this mod has been in active development since 2014. So with all the work that's gone into this mod, with all the polish that's going into it, this one really stands a chance to blow people away and completely reinvigorate New Vegas as the dominant Fallout game. Still love Fallout 3 though, it's all good. So maybe you're new, maybe you're not into modding, maybe you've never heard of Fallout: The Frontier. They don't post a lot of updates despite how incredible looking this mod is. I think they should ramp it up a little bit, but you know, that's my own personal opinion. With that being said, let's get into exactly what you'll be experiencing with this mod. So Fallout: The Frontier takes you to Portland, Oregon around the same time as Fallout New Vegas when the battle for Hoover Dam is taking place. During this, a nuclear winter is occurring, so that's why you're seeing a lot of snow, and it's going to bring a completely different feel to the vanilla Fallout New Vegas a lot of us are used to. Even with stuff like flora overhauls and updated textures, New Vegas is still very much a desert climate, so to go somewhere the complete opposite of that will bring it a new look, a new feel, and with that, it has some really unique benefits that we'll get into that affect the gameplay. Continuing on with the story, essentially what's in this gigantic write-up here is that the NCR is beginning to crumble under the Legion's onslaught. Due to that pressure the NCR is feeling from the Legion, General Blackthorne starts to put pressure on President Kimball, but essentially Kimball doesn't like that, so he takes the coward's way out, as the synopsis writes, and sends Blackthorne and those who are following him into exile into a frozen and harsh wasteland known as the Frontier. But out there is also the Legion, so the ultimate goal is to destroy the Legion, claim the Frontier's secrets, and start the long journey back to the Mojave to take what is his. So if I may, it's one of the biggest anime redemption arcs of all time. But since it's a Fallout game, you're going to be able to make choices, so you don't have to side with the NCR. You can side with the Legion, or there is a new faction being introduced in this mod called the Crusaders. So the Crusaders are sort of what their name suggests. There's a bit of religious undertones within this faction. Essentially, they were founded by someone who was formerly the Brotherhood of Steel. So in one vein, they actually are quite similar to the Brotherhood that we know and love, who's obsessed with technology and finds power within that, because they want to take all the pre-war military technology that they've discovered in the Frontier and use it to regather their holy lands, right? So that's what the Crusaders are doing. You can side with them if you want. So there's 3 routes there. That's not including all the side quests that this mod will have that'll really just hit you over the head with tons of choices and balancing out that morality. Quite frankly, what I find really exciting about this mod is that's about all we know about the story. A lot of it's been under wraps, and I think that's really important because a lot of these mods can tell great stories, and we see this issue with a lot of video games nowadays in general, where the developers, through the marketing cycle, whether it's free or not, spoil big moments in the story to help sell or gather interest. And I'm happy that with this, they're just taking that wait and see approach, trusting in their work and knowing that it'll sort of speak for itself. I think it exudes confidence, and I think it's a really smart thing to do. So with that, let's just move on over to the gameplay, which is very shocking, and you'll see why. So like I said, on their channel, there is 10 minutes of exploration gameplay, which you can check out for yourself in its entirety. I'll have it linked in the description down below. As you've noted already, very large open areas, which I think is huge for a modern Fallout game. There's a great atmosphere and aesthetic. Once again, I think this is thanks to the snow. There's just a different feel to this environment. We've seen the tropical feel in Fallout Miami, right? It's all about, I think, the atmosphere that a Fallout game can really create and totally honing in on that location you're basing yourself in. So the Frontier absolutely has that going for them. Of course, since the area is so wide open, you'll note that there are brand new locations to discover. They also stated that this map is going to be a little bit smaller than the original Fallout New Vegas map, which is pretty friggin' big, and then they're gonna have that more filled with content. So New Vegas already filled with a lot of content. I'm feeling a little intimidated, but I think I'm up for the challenge. Of course, as you go from location to location, you'll discover new lore, such as terminals to read, notes to find, and of course there is a lot of dialogue, fully voiced, which is great. There's real professional work in this mod, and the situation that they show is quite hilarious in this video, I will say.
I may have slept with the captain's daughter, and that captain may not have known his daughter liked women. I may have also stolen and pawned that captain's gun, but that was never proven.
Now, a lot of the things that I mentioned so far are things that really make the Fallout games great, right? Like unique locations, honing in on why those locations are special in each and every entry. Of course, in the modding scheme of things, you want to make sure it's polished, which I hope it will be, but also voice acting, because what happens is you have different mics with everyone. You don't have that one booth, so some people may sound different. There seems to be a consistent audio quality, really, really important, something that doesn't get enough attention in modding. Seems like they really have their finger on the pulse with that. But how did they build on it, right? Essentially, what I'm describing to you guys may just feel like another humongous adventure mod, which is still exciting. But what does this mod bring to the table in the terms of gameplay mechanics that's new? The story's new, the choices are new, the world is new, but what do they do with the gameplay that feels new? Well, first and foremost, as I noted, there's a lot of snow, and that means that you gotta watch your temperature. There is a chill factor, as they like to call it, and because you have to maintain your temperature, you either have to find a warm place to hunker down for a little bit or wear a set of armor that'll keep your temperature up. So for those who maybe need a modern video game comparison, think of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, where in certain biomes you have to wear different outfits to keep your temperature in a certain area or to keep your character from having any type of debuffs. Something along those lines, which I always like. I know some people may find it tedious, but I think it'll be well balanced given that you can have armor sets that can solve the problem for you. So essentially you just equip it and out of sight, out of mind. Even more crazy is you're gonna be able to pilot vehicles. You can get in a tank and you can ride it around in this. I kid you not, look at this, look at this. They actually have gameplay of this, and this is older gameplay and it looks pretty slick, right? I can't wait to see this fully polished and in the final release, but it gets crazier because then you can get into your own vertibird, which as we see when they're flying it around, it does seem to control pretty well, which I'm impressed by, right? Fallout's not known for vehicles at all. It's always that on the ground, point A to point B, traversal, the dynamic moments, which there are dynamic encounters in this mod as well, but I mean, my God, man, like you can actually get in a tank and a vertibird. Crazy stuff. The website under the gameplay section actually mentions that you'll be able to get into aerial dogfights, but also something called war zones, where I could see all of these vehicles actually being a pretty big factor as well. If you're like seeing the Legion and the NCR battle it out across this gigantic field, and maybe you can get in a vertibird and start raining hell down on whatever side that you're attacking. I think that type of stuff is really exciting to speculate about. And while there's no visual representation in the terms of actual gameplay, the mod also says it's gonna take you to space, and they're gonna have like low gravity battles, and you're gonna get into space dogfights. Like, dude, this mod is crazy. This mod is crazy. But yeah, man, you're gonna be in the air, on the ground, in a tank, in space, low gravity battles, like chill factor. There's a lot of new gameplay mechanics here, and I think that's what's also equally as exciting. It's not just about the new world space and the exploration and the same old Fallout. They're even changing how you play the game, which I think is something we can all appreciate. And if you couldn't tell, there's a ton of new assets in this mod, which is incredibly exciting because that means more variety in our gameplay. It's not just the weapons and armor as we come to expect with a lot of these large land mods. We also have 70 brand new creatures that we can encounter, once again giving it its own look and feel, whether it's something that's going to attack us or just a cute little creature hanging out on its own. There's a lot of variety in this mod. So what I was trying to do with this video, and hopefully I did it successfully, is sort of beat into your heads how crazy big this mod is, right? Like from the vehicle gameplay to chill factor to all the new assets to the story choices to how big the world is to how great the voice acting is. Like, that is crazy. You know, I'll take even half that list in any of these mods, and they're checking it all off. I mean, it looks incredible. Like, I'm really blown away, and I'm a little more excited, of course, knowing that it's probably coming pretty soon, given the fact that it is feature complete. They are polishing it, and there's no rush on that, right? We want to make sure that they just take their time, get it out whenever they can. But man, I cannot wait. This mod looks spectacular. I will continue to cover it as new updates come out because they seem pretty quiet on that front. They said that they're reserving all future coverage and releases for their official Fallout the Frontier YouTube channel. Normally they uploaded it on maybe next time, but I think they're done doing that and sort of doubling down on the official channel approach as they ready themselves for launch, which I think is smart. So given its long development time, I think we can trust that this is going to be pretty feature complete and polished like they're promising. I'd love to know your thoughts on this in the comments down below. Are you excited for Fallout the Frontier? Have you been following it? We're close, man. We're close, and I just can't wait to put my hands on it. I've been in a Fallout modding mood. Some of you guys will know on my Twitter account. I did a little bit of an update there. I'm working on a really ambitious video project that I'm sure I'll be able to show you guys maybe sometime next week. And so seeing this information coming out, this new gameplay, I just had to talk about it today. Really, really pumped. So big congrats and love to the Fallout the Frontier team. Thank you guys for your insane hard work on this mod. I'm sure it was not easy, and I'm sure it was very trying given that, I mean, it's free. And they said that any donations they get that are over the top of what they need are going to charity. So really good people too. All right, that'll do it for me. Love to know your thoughts. Leave them down below. Other than that, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below, along with my Patreon. Big thank you to all of the patrons for continuously supporting all the content I create here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.